More monsters from DK. Forget Count Spatula. There's another monster lurking under the bed, and he's able to scare the shit out of pretty much anyone. Welcome to vlog 23, another monster of a vlog. So, we've seen Count Spatula in action. We've seen how he likes to toy with people, even those who eased his passage into the hot seat of the 18th District Mayor's office. Yes, Count Spatula, a man who, acting on his own non-existent medical advice, sent back hundreds of Chinese vaccines, ostensibly under the pretext of nobody wanting them. But in truth, because the bunch of loonies he hangs out with are, as left-wingers, violently opposed to any vaccine that hasn't been rubber-stamped by an office worker in Brussels. In lieu of any medical knowledge of their own, DK members follow the party line. That which comes straight from the fractured fount of foolishness that is the essence of the EU. But put Count Spatula from your minds for a second and prepare yourself for another monster from the dark side. Now that probably scared you, didn't it? Well, gather yourself and gird your loins because I'm going to show you that photo again. All right, now calm down, still your beating heart and consider the monster angle. Who does this man remind you of? This member of parliament for the Democratic Coalition, this man who jumped into the revolving door as the unfortunate George Greci had to tender his resignation due to becoming embroiled in a scandal which centered around his sending pictures of himself wearing just his hair trousers to a woman who didn't appreciate it. So, Greci was required to stand down and the revolving door spat this replacement out. Zoltán Varga, DK's man from Debrecen. He too, like Count Spatula, is a refugee from the socialists, jumping ship with several others to hitch a ride with his new monster, Fleto Gyurcsány, a man who is irredeemably convinced of his own greatness and destiny in Hungarian politics. But back to the monster squad. After Count Spatula, this is the next obvious candidate who's presumably grown tired of a life in B-movies and has swapped life in front of the camera in dusty, foggy, black and white stage sets for something else, in colour. But for all that colour, we can all see who this man used to be, can't we? Yes, it's obvious. This, ladies and gentlemen, is quite obviously Frankenstein's monster, out of the lab of the great Dr. Frankenstein doing his day job, we assume. I, for one, had no idea that the bolt in his neck was removable, but as we can see, it obviously is. And so to the meat of the matter. Does the DK's Varga really meet the requirements for us to consider him a Franken photocopy, or is it merely a case of beauty being only skin deep? Well, what do we know of the original Frankenstein's monster? Well, that's where we start to see that appearances might well be deceiving. In Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus, the monster, far from the image that has been promoted by Hollywood, is not some sort of Philistine stumbling about the place, stunning people with his lack of communication skills and general stupidity. So we've drawn a blank then, haven't we? Well, yes, it appears so. Here we have what appears to be a dead ringer for Frankenstein's monster. Albeit one who's had the sense to remove the bolts from his neck and apply a bit of pancake makeup to cover up any inauspicious scars located around the forehead and temple, Frankenstein's monster turned out to be an eloquent, sensitive individual. Well, bang goes my comparison out like a light. With Varga, what we've got is anything but. He, true to a form of something or other, blames not the Chinese for the pandemic, but the all-powerful Orbán.
Ennek a jelenlegi helyzetnek az okozója, Orbán Viktor, egyszer csak magába szállna. Látná azt, hogy mi történik itt ebbe az országban, amit ő tett ilyenné. Levonná a konzekvenciákat és eltűnne.
Honestly, what can you say to that? The man's insane. Incidentally, that was part of a series of interviews conducted on the 1st of January 2021. Everyone else, to a man, wished for an end to the virus, a return to normal life and peace and love. Apart from Frankenstein's monster. Lovely. The original monster, possessing empathy, would have been trying to help, but not Varga and his mates in DK. These people attack at every turn. launching outrageous accusations at the government for, now get this, trying to secure as many face masks, gloves, ventilators and vaccines as possible to ensure that ever more people either avoid catching the virus or catch it and are able to recover without dying. DK, along with the rest of the Luftwaffe, spend all their time insisting that the only vaccines we should inoculate with are those that have been rubber-stamped by an EU office worker. Those same vaccines, of course, are the very ones that are presently not forthcoming. Serious illness, possible death, or a vaccine approved by Hungarian scientists but not by Brussels office workers. That shouldn't even be a question. There is only one thing, other than physical resemblance obviously, that brings these two closer together. That thing is their similarity in some of the ways of their thinking. With the monster, rejection leads him to develop the idea that humankind is the enemy. I can only speculate as to the cause of Varga's feelings towards humankind, but his approach to the vaccination that prevents serious illness and death from the coronavirus speaks volumes in a way which Frankenstein's monster would nod at in appreciation. Varga, moving closer to the vengefulness that grew within the original monster, belongs to a select group of fools who, for a chance of potential political purchase, are prepared to gum up the works to prevent vaccines being delivered. Varga, monster he undoubtedly is quite willing to take a chance with your life on the line. Maybe they are related after all.